I swear, you will beg for hell long before I grant it. Hell answers to me. For I am Doom.
Robert Downey Jr. has been walking around promotional events with hidden messages sewn into his clothing. Not decorative stitching, not random design choices. Coded, runic ciphers on his jacket pockets, his lapels, his cuffs, his shoes. And when someone finally took the time to decode every inscription, what they found was this: revenge, justice. There is no promise of tomorrow. To the victor go the spoils. And on the shoes, two names: Reed and Valeria. Valeria, the name of Dr. Doom's lost love in the comics, the name that anchors an entire cosmic crusade in something as small and as enormous as a man who loved someone and lost her. And Marvel hid it on the bottom of RDJ's shoes like a message that was always meant to be found eventually by someone paying close enough attention. The Avengers Doomsday special look has arrived, and it is doing what the best Marvel trailers have always done, showing you just enough that you feel like you understand what is coming, while hiding the most important information in plain sight. The runic geometry on the Castle Doomsday floor. The tapestry of Doom's dead wife and child with iron-like wings behind them. The image of Tony Stark's Endgame snap depicted beneath them. Reed Richards' Defense Network equations with specific items unchecked. And a frame-by-frame breakdown of what Battle World actually looks like when three versions of Manhattan are stitched together above the TVA void. Let's go through everything, because this trailer is one of the most densely constructed pieces of Marvel marketing ever assembled, and the details reward the people who stay until the end. Castle Doomsday opens a preview, and the first thing that demands attention is the floor. Not the throne, not Doom himself, the floor in front of the dais where he sits, where mystical green energy burns like slow fire, tracing intricate runic patterns across the stone. That geometry is not random. It is not decorative. Look at Doom's gauntlet in any promotional material, and you will see the same symbols etched into the metal. They speak the same magical language. The lore behind those runes has two sources, and both of them are essential to understanding what Doom actually is in this film. The first source is his mother, Cynthia Von Doom, a Latverian witch whose soul remains trapped in Mephisto's hell dimension, a wound that has defined Victor's entire existence since childhood. He learned sorcery not from a school or a mentor in the conventional sense. He learned it from the legacy of a woman the universe took from him before he was old enough to stop it. The second source is temporal. Doom traveled through time to study under the sorcerer Cagliostro, mastering teachings from the Book of Cagliostro, consulting relics connected to Morgan Le Fay. He is both a genius engineer and a genuine practitioner of the dark arts. When he attaches Stormbreaker mid-flight and pins it into a wall, he is not doing a magic trick. He is doing what any person who has studied under the greatest sorcerers in history can do with a weapon built for a god. The green flame beneath the throne is the most emotionally loaded visual in the opening sequence, once you know what it represents. It is Cynthia's trapped soul. It is the thing Doom looks at from his seat of power every day, and is reminded that the most powerful man in any room he enters could not save the woman who made him. That specific grief is what Ghost Rider and Mephisto's eventual MCU arrival will be built on. The flame is not atmosphere. It is the setup for a storyline about a son trying to buy back his mother's soul with the only currency Mephisto accepts: power, sacrifice, and the suffering of others. The window arch behind the throne, matching the structural framing of the Doomsday countdown clock that Marvel has been using in promotions, confirms the base of operations is either the true Castle Doomsday or a captured and redecorated version of the Citadel at the end of time, the seat of He Who Remains, seized after the TVA's original architecture collapsed. Doom, operating from the physical location where Reality's administration used to run, is the most logical power move available to a man with his intelligence and his specific understanding of how the multiverse is governed. The Latverian witches, flanking his inner circle, are the other detail generating significant conversation. Multiple masked figures with a mysterious masked, third-eyed presence among them. The strongest rumor attaching itself to that third-eyed figure is that it represents a dark variant of Doctor Strange, the version of Strange who fell to the dark hold in Multiverse of Madness, the one who was stopped on Earth 838, potentially a version from another branch who was not stopped in time. A Boris figure, a dark sorcerer who serves Victor, not out of ideology, but out of the specific loyalty that forms when someone sees you as the only power worth following in a collapsing universe. Vanessa Kirby's Sue Storm delivers the voiceover that reframes every threatening, calculating thing Doom does in the rest of the trailer. Victor was always the smartest guy in every room. He used to be different. He used to be kind. He used to be caring. And then everything he loved was taken from him. Sue says this with the specific quality of someone who knew the person before the armor, before the mask, before the crusade. She is not making excuses for what he became. She is explaining the distance between what he was and what he is, and she is doing it in a way that makes that distance feel like a tragedy rather than a villain origin. Victor Von Doom originated from Earth 828. He was an associate, peer, and former friend of Reed Richards and Sue Storm, in the same retro-futuristic universe where the Fantastic Four's story takes place. The empty chair bearing the Latvarian flag at the Future Foundation in Fantastic Four First Steps was the first acknowledgement of his existence in that world, a seat left empty by a man who had gone to war in his own country, leading the Zafiro clan to overthrow the dictator Vladimir Fortunov. And then the incursions found his family. The tapestry inside Castle Doomsday shows Victor's deceased wife and child depicted among angelic figures with distinctive blade-like wings. And beneath them, this is the detail that changes the emotional architecture of the entire conflict. There is a stylized depiction of Tony Stark's snap from Avengers Endgame. The hero's time travel, Steve Rogers returning the Infinity Stones and choosing to stay in the past with Peggy Carter. The temporal ripples from those choices, timeline corrections that collided with Victor's universe at exactly the wrong moment for exactly the wrong people. What Doom believed was the universe randomly taking his family, he eventually learned was collateral damage. Specific collateral damage, caused by specific people from Earth 616 who made choices that felt heroic from inside their story and were catastrophic from outside it. His quest is not ambition. It is a bill that he has decided must be paid by the people who created it. The wardrobe cipher makes this personal in a way no dialogue could. Reed and Valeria on the soles of his shoes. To the victor go the spoils on his cuffs. There is no promise of tomorrow on his lapel. Revenge and justice in his pockets. These are not fashion choices. They are the internal monologue of a man who has decided that he is simultaneously the victim and the judge of the people who wronged him. To the victor go the spoils is both a statement about his name and a declaration of what he intends to take. Everything. The Baxter Building resistance assembled in the trailer is the first full look at what the heroes have managed to gather against him. Magneto with long silver hair and an arm in a sling, the physical toll of using planetary magnetic fields as a weapon against incoming multiversal threats. Gambit apparently unscathed, which given everything Remy LeBeau has been through recently is either a continuity gift or a very deliberate choice that the film will explain. Steve Rogers aged and bearded, present exactly the way the earlier trailer established he would be. Sam Wilson's Captain America. John Walker. Shuri and M'Baku with Wakandan vibranium woven through their battle gear alongside Talacanal turquoise. Former rival nations unified by the specific threat that makes national rivalry look like a luxury nobody can currently afford. Shang-Chi, Namor, and Thor, whose visible hand tremors are the detail that has sparked the most conversation. Thor's tremors are not a continuity error. They are the show telling you something about what Thor has experienced off-screen in the time since you last saw him properly. A god who has fought across multiple universes, who has watched the multiverse begin to collapse, who has lost people he loved to forces he could not stop. The tremors are grief that has settled into the body, the specific way that prolonged trauma manifests when there is no longer any pause long enough for processing. Reed Richards confronting Doom with "all of you have lived stolen lives, and you must give them back," is the line that operates on multiple levels simultaneously. Doom believes this sincerely. He is not being hypocritical. From his perspective, every current MCU reality is an unnatural configuration born from temporal tampering and selfish choices. Scott Lang surviving the quantum realm by random chance and enabling time travel, Steve Rogers breaking temporal law to stay in the past, Thor adopting a god-tier entity reincarnated from eternity itself, Loki escaping his destined death, Cyclops restored by timeline alterations. These are not small deviations from natural order. They are the specific tampering that generated the instability Doom is now using as the raw material for his constructed reality. He is not wrong about the tampering. He is wrong about what the solution requires. Reed's equations on the chalkboards confirm he was building a planetary defense network designed to push colliding Earths apart. Heat capture arrays, spatial dissipation fields, magnetosphere reinforcers, geothermic sinks, atmospheric stabilizers. A machine for preventing incursions by treating the colliding realities like magnets with matching poles, forcing them to repel rather than merge. Some items are checked, some items are not. The unchecked items are the tragedy. Reed built an incomplete solution, and Doom found the gaps, and Doom is using Reed's own architecture to accelerate the thing it was built to prevent. The smartest man in any room built a machine to save the multiverse, and the slightly smarter man repurposed it to harvest the multiverse instead. The Battleworld construction shot, the aerial fly-through of a shattered, restitched Manhattan skyline, is the moment the trailer becomes genuinely breathtaking visually. 3 distinct versions of Manhattan being merged into a single landmass. Earth 16-6's Manhattan, featuring the renovated Avengers Tower. Earth 828's Manhattan, featuring the retro-futuristic Baxter Building in all its architectural specificity. Earth 1005's Manhattan, the original X-Men timeline with the Statue of Liberty visible, the same Liberty Island where the first major battle between mutants and humans was fought in 2000. All of it, floating above the void. The TVA's multiversal dumping ground where Loki found the leftover fragments of pruned timelines, where Deadpool and Wolverine discovered the displaced heroes of Fox's history. Doom is building his palace on the bones of everything that was thrown away. The combat climax is where the power scaling becomes impossible to dismiss. Thor throws Stormbreaker, an axe that channeled 6 Infinity Stones simultaneously, the axe that carved through the full power of the completed gauntlet. Doom raises his hand and catches it, not deflects, catches it, holds it, and then slams his fist into the earth and sends green sorcery through buried mechanical corpses and Trask Industries Sentinels, the mutant hunting machines from the X-Men universe, the things built specifically to eliminate what evolution produced, rise from the mud with green fire in their eyes and chest cores. He took the weapons designed to hunt mutants and corrupted them with dark magic and aimed them at everyone. That is a specific kind of genius that belongs specifically to Victor Von Doom. The X-Mansion confirmed as a key stronghold, Wolverine and Cyclops in significant roles, the Spidey tracker signal from deep space, either Tom Holland's Peter stranded on an arriving fragment of Earth, or Tobey Maguire's Peter 2 entering the fray from Earth 96283 as the incursions begin to collapse. Both possibilities are active, and both matter for different reasons. And underneath all of the cosmic machinery, the equations and the runes and the Sentinel armies and the Battleworld construction, Reed and Valeria on the bottom of RDJ's shoes, 2 names that contain an entire human story about what happens when grief meets genius and nobody arrives in time to redirect it. Doom is not doing this because he wants power. He is doing this because he wants back what was taken, and the universe does not have a mechanism for returning it. So he is building one. Out of everything else, the Valeria detail. Does knowing her name and its connection to the tapestry change how you feel about Doom as the antagonist of this film? And Reed Richards' defense network being weaponized against its own purpose? Is that the most painful irony the MCU has ever constructed? Or is there a betrayal from the comics you think hits harder? Drop everything in the comments, because this film is coming, and I want to build toward it with you from right here.